We're finally back after a long hiatus of filming, but we're locked in, okay? Which means you need to lock in for this review of the Michael movie. I know, okay? Look, I'm 11, 12, 13 days late. Who cares? Okay, Michael Jackson's biopic was released, and we gotta talk about it. Now, I'm sure all you guys know the critic score for this being released was in the 20s and 30s. That is a god-awful critic score review to have coming out, a couple days before mass release. Michael Jackson is so beloved, and us as the public are not gonna sit here and movie critique this biopic movie about a guy we all love. So obviously the Rotten Tomatoes audience score being at a 96, 97, maybe a little lower, was expected, and I couldn't be happier about that. I absolutely adored this movie. On my Letterboxd, which you should check it out, I give it a 5 out of 5. It was pretty much perfect. Now, I say pretty much because I do have one or maybe a couple complaints. My biggest complaint, and this isn't even a complaint, this literally means nothing. It doesn't affect my view at all, so don't think I'm nitpicking, was every time during the concerts, when they would show the crowd, yeah, this guy does not look like he was in the 80s or the 60s or the 50s or the 70s, whatever it was. He looks like he was pulled out of 2026, like, hey, brother, just go in there and shake your hands and fucking cry. That's what it looked like to me, and honestly, it was just something I would notice during the performances. Who cares? Now, I went in thinking I wasn't going to like the whole beginning of the Jackson 5 because I didn't know much about the Jackson 5. Like, I was born in 04, okay? I've loved Michael Jackson, but just the music. I never knew any of the story, really. But I ended up falling in love with the entire thing where it starts off, he's young and then progressing into the almost to the bad era. It was just phenomenal. I was hooked from the beginning, and every single song or performance or story put was just, putting me into the movie more. So when it starts off and his dad, Joe Jackson, right? I'm pretty sure his name is Joe. Who knows? Fuck that guy. We don't even care if we say his name wrong. But we're just going to call him Joe because that's probably his name. Anyways, I hated him so much, man. And I think that's a shout out to Colman Domingo for being the amazing actor he is. I mean, he was great as Mr. Osborn in Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. I know you're probably like, why do you know Colman Domingo from Spider-Man? Because I'm Spider-Man, okay? Quick, who cares? Anyways, he was phenomenal. I do think an Oscar is coming his way. Best Supporting Actor probably because he was phenomenal. Outside of that, I don't think anyone else is getting an Oscar. Even if Jafar Jackson was amazing, it's a biopic. They're not going to give it to him. Who cares? It'll get some music awards. But that being said, the beginning of the movie was just so hooking with kind of learning how he started off with the Jackson 5 and then going and, singing on these random stages or commercials, whatever they were. I didn't know any of that. But seeing his dad beat him for not making eye contact or for not hitting this note perfectly makes you understand why Michael was genuinely fearsome of his father when he's like, nah, I'm gonna go fire my dad. And then they just print out a paper and mail it to him because he was so scared of what his dad was going to do to him. And I know it's a biopic made by Michael Jackson's family. I can pretty much guarantee that it was toned down for the movie. Like I said, I just didn't expect to fall in love with the Jackson 5. I didn't know much about them besides a couple of songs. And then to see, the ABC song and all these other songs performed was super dope. It was nice to finally see all these songs by Michael Jackson or the Jackson 5 on the big screen in IMAX. Got to see it a couple of days early. It was super cool to see. So for all the people that are critiquing, oh, you left this, and out. Jafar doesn't even look like Michael. You should have included this. It's a biopic, not a documentary, okay? A biopic and a documentary are two completely different things, all right? And for a biopic, I think it did his early stages of life really well. And obviously, we're getting a part 2. Why stuff everything into 2 hours when you can just give us a part 2, have 4 to 5 hours to work with, and you can probably fit everything in. And you gotta remember, it's made by his family. They're not gonna include allegations, okay? And also, there's a bunch of legal reasons behind it. Why do y'all want to see that so bad when you can just go online and maybe watch this documentary? Why not just watch this and enjoy all the great and amazing things about Michael and how good of a person he was and him doing this and him doing this and him performing this? Just enjoy that. No reason to go in there and be like, yeah, this movie sucks because they didn't literally touch on touching kids. Who gives a fuck? Or, yeah, they missed this song, but okay, cool. Human Nature was freaking amazing. Bad was amazing. Beat It was amazing. Thriller was amazing. And it truly frustrates me to see these freaking people come out of this theater and complain about it, okay? I got to watch it at a fan event. People dressed up everywhere. It was an amazing experience. There's 1,000 things I didn't know about Michael Jackson. Now, obviously, I knew about Netherland and, I didn't know about the Peter Pan obsession, but I guess he really floated to Peter Pan, which is dope. But I didn't know the whole Pepsi commercial thing. Because like I said, I was born in 04, okay? I loved his music. I didn't love his story. I didn't know his story. All right, so finding out he went and did a Pepsi commercial because he was forced to do this last tour because of his shitty father. Ended up getting, what, third-degree burns on his head and almost probably dying or severe brain damage. And the first thing he decided to do when he found out how much he was getting, money-wise, donate it all to burn victims. I don't think there's a celebrity up now, everyone's so money-hungry and greedy for money, that would do that. I think just because that's who he was, and the kind of character he had, he did that. And I loved seeing the human side of Michael Jackson because you just see him as this massive pop star all the time. So seeing him donate all the money, go to hospitals and just hang out with people, just not even on some Michael Jackson, I'm cool and famous and I make music. No, but I'm a person, and person to person, I want to talk to you and pray for you and root for you and do all these things for you. And I loved that for him. But you also see how he gets his childhood pretty much stripped away from him by his father. So it makes sense him hanging out with these children and trying to be there for them because he didn't have that growing up. Or why he bought all these animals because he didn't have any friends. His family's telling him no, they don't want to play Twister with him. Cool, let me go play with Bubbles because no one really fucks with me because they just think I'm some like random person who's not a real human, but just I make music. That's all they thought of Michael Jackson. That's what he felt. And it is so sad to actually see that and to see it performed so well by Jafar. When this movie starts and you finally get to Michael's teen ages and Jafar's finally on screen, I was like, yeah, that doesn't look like Michael Jackson. But as time progressed, that looks just like Michael Jackson and moves just like Michael Jackson. And you see that in the performances. Specifically, for me, Human Nature. Human Nature might be my favorite one. And I didn't even fully know the song. I didn't know the name of the song. I just knew the lyrics. And to see that performed live and the whole little, why? Oh my God, my urinal was just floating. I was obsessed with it. I thought that was by far the best performance. But also seeing Bad directly after that and the transition into Bad was phenomenal. And you finally see people passing out and all these people going crazy. And I also think maybe the live concerts and the real ones in real life might have been a little more insane than what we saw in that movie. Doesn't surprise me. Michael was insanely famous. And then little details. The orange juice, was just nice to see stuff like that included. And I think one of my favorite scenes that's going to go unnoticed by a lot of people because Michael just kind of sits there the entire scene was them trying to get the Thriller video, I'm pretty sure it was Thriller, onto MTV, and where it became obviously the biggest trailer music video of all time. But to see the white dude just hammering in on this MTV guy, like, hey, you need to do this, I thought it was so cool. Michael just had pull. I don't know what else to call it. That brother had pull. Also, things like Beat It in this movie, I think like Beat It was also so cool because I've seen the music video. I never realized that he went and got rival gangs to come together for this. And I think that's something Michael Jackson does quite a bit with, like they don't really care about us, Beat It, Bad maybe, where he just kind of, all of his music has messages in it. If you just listen to the lyrics or watch that video, he's fighting for, peace and people being good and all these different things with his music. And the more you realize it, the more it's like, okay, so this guy who advocates for everybody being nice and peace and all these great things and who gives away $7 billion and who was protecting children and doing all these different things, why would people come out and make those statements about him or what these things? I don't know. I will say I'm on the side where I don't believe any of that. I do think Michael was genuinely a good person who just had his childhood stripped from him. Simple as that. But this movie was just so phenomenal. It's by far my favorite movie of the year. Like I said, and I know a lot of people give me shit because like, oh, how did you not know about the Pepsi commercial? How did you not know this? How did you not know that? I just loved the music. I never really cared much about the person of Michael Jackson. Just thought that the music was good. But to learn all these things about him has fully pushed me into, I want to know more about the person because of how amazing he was. So now I'm just watching videos of Michael Jackson, watching all these different things, watching his dance videos, his music videos, everything. It was just phenomenal. He was so creative that it makes me want to make my videos better or my videos more creative and everything about that. And so not only do I think this is a good movie and a movie you're going to go into and be entertained and love all the music and love everything about it, but I do think if you can sit there and if you process movies the way I do, this can motivate you in some sort of way, which it has done for me. And I loved it. I got to take my girlfriend to go see it. Here's a picture of us. It was just truly, truly, truly one of the best experiences I've had in a movie theater probably over the last year. And like I said, guys, I don't have very many or if any negatives at all, which is why I get so pissed off with critic scores or people coming out and saying, oh, you should have included this. Like, I know there's important details that were missed. Like, why is Janet Jackson not in this movie? Why are other people not in this movie? Well, one, they don't want to be. Two, there's legal reasons behind it. Yeah, Michael Jackson was groomed as a kid practically his entire life by whatever that woman's name was. We don't care about her. And she's an important person in his life, like in the career of Michael. Fuck that. Don't include that. No, and you only have a certain amount of time. You can't, what do you want? 2 hours? Cool. Well, then we'd still be on the Jackson 5 part because that was such a big movement. So what? We need 50 fucking movies because of how important and insane this guy's life was? That's just not going to happen, okay? Why don't you just enjoy what we get, eat what they put on our plate, and just be happy with it because you're getting a fucking second one, okay? And that's going to be the death, and that's going to be all these other things. Maybe you'll see some allegations if you're one of those guys that's like, oh my god, I want to see all the bad stuff. Maybe you'll see that. Who knows? But, man, I just want to re-experience watching this movie again for the first time. It was genuinely so good. It is my number one of the year. I do think it is better so far than Project Hail Mary, which was my number one before, I think. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was. But it's phenomenal. Like, I think all the Michael fans are going to love it, and I think people that just kind of like music are going to love it. Which makes me on to my next question is, who's the next biopic we're going to get? Who's the next big person biopic we're going to get? Honestly, fuck it. Give me Kanye. Kanye West. Okay, I think he's the only person alive right now that probably even can get one because of how big and insane and his story is. I just want it. Fuck it. Give me Kanye. That being said, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Be positive about movies, man. People put blood, sweat, and tears in these movies. And yes, some of them do suck. But at the end of the day, this is someone's hard work. And for people to, I don't know, I just get so pissed off when people shit on this movie. It's so freaking good. I absolutely loved it. I hope you loved it. Let me know what y'all think in the comments down below. Douche.